Welcome to episode 33 of OTD, your daily dose of soccer history by 17 Laws Guy. Today's story is based on one of the simplest sentences in the laws of the game. Law 10, Section 2 says, quote, "The team scoring the greater number of goals is the winner," end quote. You can read that two ways. Either score more by building your team around forwards and creating chances, or concede less by building your empire on a goalkeeper who simply refuses to be beaten. On December 3, 1972, at the Stadio Comunale in Turin, a 30-year-old Dino Zoff quietly began one of the most astonishing refuse-to-be-beaten streaks football has ever seen. That afternoon, Juventus beat Fiorentina 2-1 in Serie A. Just before halftime, Fiorentina's Sergio Saltutti slipped a shot past Zoff, the last league goal he'd conceded for more than 900 minutes. From that moment until mid-February, no one in Serie A would score past him. At the same time, Zoff was already in the middle of an even longer run with Italy, 12 straight games without conceding, 1,142 international minutes in total, still the world record for a national team goalkeeper. Today we're going to zoom in on that afternoon against Fiorentina and the 903 Serie A minutes that followed, set them alongside his parallel run with the Azzurri, then pull back to ask just how unique it is for a keeper to dominate both league and international football like that at the same time. We start in Turin, 1972-73. Juventus are Italy's great post-war machine, multiple scudetti in the 50s and 60s, a deep squad, and an identity of relentless efficiency. Zoff has joined them from Napoli in 72, already established as Italy's number one, and fresh from helping the Azzurri to the Euro 68 title and the World Cup final in 70. By early December 72, Juve are chasing another championship. It's match day 9 of Serie A. Fiorentina come to town. Juventus take the lead through Roberto Bettega. Fiorentina equalized in the 41st minute, Saltutti sliding the ball past Zoff. In the second half, Jose Altafini restores Juve's lead. It finishes 2-1. From the standings point of view, it's just another home win in a title race. From the goalkeeper's record book, that Saltutti goal is the last one Zoff will pick out of his net in Serie A for 10 full games worth of football. From the 42nd minute of that match until a Gianni Rivera penalty for Milan on February 18, 1973, nobody scores against Dino Zoff in Serie A. That's 903 consecutive league minutes without conceding, the longest single-season run by any goalkeeper in Serie A since the national round-robin began in 1929, until Gianluigi Buffon finally pushes past it with 974 minutes for, of course, Juventus in 2015-16. So what does 903 minutes actually look like on it? After the Fiorentina game, Juventus score on a run in league fixtures where Zoff's goals against column simply stays at 0. Away at Palermo on Sicily's hostile ground, home to Lanerossi Vicenza. A trip to Ternana, promoted and desperate for points. Atalanta, Inter, Roma, Bologna, Verona, Lazio, a cross-section of 1970s Serie A from relegation battlers to title rivals. Some of those games are comfortable wins, others tied one-goal margins and goalless draws, but the pattern is the same. At the final whistle, Zoff has not been beaten. Then comes February 18, 1973, and top of the table showdown at San Siro against Milan. Juventus keep Milan out for most of the afternoon. The streak ticks past 900 minutes until, in the 74th minute, Gianni Rivera finally beats Zoff from the penalty spot. The run ends at 903. Juventus will go on to win the 72-73 Scudetto by a single point. In a league where wins are worth 2 points, that handful of 1-0s and 0-0s protected by Zoff are basically the margin of the title. Under Law 10, it's brutally simple. A team that never concedes can't lose. Over those 10-odd matches, Zoff's clean sheet turns 0-0s into save points, give Juve the platform where one goal is enough, and squeeze rivals like Milan in a title race where every drop point hurts. And remember, this is Serie A in the 1970s, not a free-scoring festival. Games are tactical, margins are fine, and one mistake can define the season. Holding the line for 903 minutes is not just an aesthetics record, it's a competitive weapon. Now park Serie A for a second and look what Zoff is doing in blue at the same time. In September 72, more than 2 months before that Fiorentina match in Serie A, Italy hosts Yugoslavia in a friendly in Turin and win 3-1. In the 73rd minute, Momcilo Vukotic scores Yugoslavia's single goal in the match, and is the start of a run in which Zoff and Italy played 12 consecutive full internationals without conceding a goal. a world record 1,142 minutes of international football. The opponents aren't all superpowers, but this is not a friendly-only streak either. World Cup qualifiers against Luxembourg, home and away, Switzerland and Turkey, all competitive, high-stakes games for a place at the World Cup in '74. Friendlies against serious opposition, Italy draw 0-0 with England in Turin, shut out Brazil in Rome, and face other European sides, tuning up for the World Cup. Across all of these, Zoff does not concede once. The run finally ends on June 15, 1974 in Munich, at the World Cup itself, where Haiti's Emmanuel Sanon rounds Zoff and scores one of the tournament's most famous underdog goals. It's Haiti's first ever World Cup goal. It's also the first goal Italy have conceded in more than 20 months. Line those two streaks up on a timeline and you get the full picture. For 2.5 months, from early December 72 to mid-February 73, Zoff is on hard mode across both fronts. In competitive matches that decide Scudetti and World Cup places, there's no footage of anybody scoring a goal past Dino Zoff for an entire winter. That's not just astounding, that's a unique record in soccer history. Put that back under the lens of law number 10. The law doesn't care how you outscore the opponent. You can win 5-4, or you can win 1-0, or you can draw 0-0, which is still better than losing. What Zoff does in 72 to 74 is skew the probability tree. Every match he plays in that period starts with the opposition score basically set to 0, unless you do something exceptional. Juventus and Italy don't need to be attacking juggernauts. They just need Riva, Altafini, or Bettega, or Anastasi to find a goal or two. You see it numerically. Italy qualified for the World Cup in 74 from a group where a single conceded goal could have flipped tiebreakers. Those 1-0s and 2-0s over Turkey and Luxembourg rest on Zoff's perfection at the back. Juventus win the 72-73 Serie A title by a solitary point ahead of Milan. Swap one of those 1-0 wins in his streak for a 1-1 draw, and the Scudetto flips. We tend to remember attacking football more vividly, but Zoff's twin runs are a reminder of how a great goalkeeper can quietly bend the whole logic of a season. So is anyone else in football doing this sort of double act, simultaneously building record streaks for both club and country? Plenty of keepers have put together outrageous runs in one arena. No one has ever done it in two at once. In 2015-16, Gianluca Buffon sets a new Serie A record by going 974 minutes without conceding for Juventus, finally beating Zoff's 903. Buffon also has periods of superb form for Italy, but his longest club run and any extended international streak don't align in the same neat double record way. In 2008-09, Edwin van der Sar goes 1,311 minutes without conceding in the Premier League for Manchester United. 14 straight clean sheets, the longest league run in English top-flight history, and a single-season world record at the time. With the Netherlands, he has a long international career, but nothing close to a comparable minutes record. Iker Casillas is Spain, go on a famous run between Euro 2008 and Euro 2012, with very few goals conceded and multiple tournaments won. Manuel Neuer anchors Germany's 2010 to 2016 period, but when you dig into the numbers, the personal minutes without conceding at international level are shorter than Zoff's, and the club record streaks for Real Madrid, Schalke or Bayern happen in different windows. There are wild team records too, Al Ahly in Egypt, Vasco da Gama in Brazil, Club Brugge in Belgium and others with 1,300 to 1,700 minute league shutout runs, but those often use more than one goalkeeper, and the national team numbers behind them are much, much smaller. Italy as a team did eventually break Zoff's international minutes mark during the Mancini era, going past 1,145 minutes in 2021 on their way through Euro 2020 and into World Cup qualifying. But that newer record is shared between multiple keepers. One last note to situate Zoff in the bigger Juventus and Italy arcs. With Juve, that 72-73 season is part of a long stretch where he helps them win 6 Scudetti and reach European Cup finals, the rock behind Bettega, Causio, Altafini, and later Baggio and Platini. With Italy, he captains the Azzurri to World Cup glory in 1982 at the age of 40, having already been in a World Cup final 12 years earlier. When you look back at his double record from that angle, it feels less like a quirky statistic and more like a compressed snapshot of who he was. A goalkeeper who almost never got injured, a mentality monster in an era of brutal defending and small margins. A player whose consistency, more than one spectacular save, quietly bent seasons, qualifiers, and ultimately tournaments. In the 41st minute against Fiorentina on this day, December 3rd in 1972, to a Haitian forward in Munich in June 74, Dino Zoff for 18 months turned 0 into something close to his personal brand. That's all for episode 33 of OTD, The day a routine Serie A win over Fiorentina marked the start of a 903-minute league minutes of nothing, right in the middle of a world record run of clean sheets for Italy. Got memory sources for favorite goalkeeper Iron Man streaks? Then email us at otd@17lawsguide.com. Subscribe and leave us a 5-star review so more clean sheet obsessives can find us. Tomorrow, in episode 34, we'll jump forward to December 1977 and a very different sort of spectacle, the draw for the 1998 World Cup, the FIFA 11 versus Europe 11 curtain raiser, and some of the quirks and controversies that make World Cup draws their own little corner of football history. Don't miss it.